Welcome back, everybody, to another week of the MCT Podcast. I'm here, myself, Toddy Manukian, is here with Chris Topher and Michael Robinson. Well, guys, it's great to see everybody here today.
Yeah, y'all want to give me crap about y'all kicked me off last week. Y'all told me not to show up last week. Y'all banned me from my own podcast.
It was your birthday week, Chris. What do you want? What did you expect?
It was 4 days before my birthday. We're closer to
this. You want Chris? Take. This
we're as
off.
close to
take
my. We are at. We are as close to my birthday still today than we were last week.
Take this one.
Anyway, it is good to be back. Y'all had a fun episode last week. I know. Talked about some crazy stuff. That Purdue upset was probably a lot of fun to talk about, and other big college football upsets. We will talk some college football later on the show, but I think we're going to start with, guys, the National Basketball Association is back. And you know how I know we're back? You know how I know for like it feels like we're back? I got 3 things for you that prove that we're back. The Pacers can't play in the third quarter still. We're back. The NBA is whoever wrote the script for the season opener of the NBA needs a raise because we've got drama. And your boy John Morant is dropping 37 without breaking a sweat. I mean, that man, whoo-hoo, I could do an hour on that man. I love that man. I don't give a damn about Memphis as a team, generally speaking, but I love me some John Morant, man. He is so much fun. Did y'all see? I'm sorry, but did y'all see that alley-oop put back? That alley-oop that he had in game 1 as part of his 37? Kid's a monster.
That was good.
He would dominate any dunk contest he goes in. Like, I hope he goes in it for the next 10 years, and he would just win 10 in a row, and I don't care. And I'd be here for every single one of them. Anyway, we are going to start with the big stuff. We're going to start with the drama of the NBA season. Grab your popcorn, get your popcorn ready, T.O., because the NBA is full of drama. Holy crap. I don't know what it is. Do y'all have any idea like what it is about this league that lends itself to this level of drama? I mean, year in and year out, it's inevitable. We have all kinds of infighting and drama storylines and revenge games, but it feels always to another level in the NBA over like the NFL or, Michael, the MLB. We don't really have, I mean, it feels different to me. Am I the only one?
See, the big thing is the NBA, because there are smaller teams, it's a lot more player driven than other leagues. So having a guy like Ben Simmons getting angry, or the whole thing with Dwight Howard and AD, you got all these egos on the team because, you know, that one guy like LeBron has been doing for all of his career can make or break a team. And they're like, nope, this is me. And every year at the start of the year, especially when you got these super teams like in LA with Tade Boy over here, like it takes a little bit of growing pains. Everyone's got to kind of learn their niche. You got to build that chemistry. And when you're starting to go about that process, things get rubbed the wrong way. And that will lead to some clashes starting the year, or in the Pacers case, the entire year last year. But
injuries played a big part of that.
Miles Turner and Domas love each other. What do you mean?
They do. They're
really
basically brothers. But the coaching staff fought everybody, so who cares?
True.
We need Dan Burke back. We'll get into that.
What's defense? What?
I don't know.
Who needs it?
Is that thing you do on the? I don't even know. It sounds like a foreign concept to me.
That's not even all the real drama going on right now with this entire
defense. Defense. You mean where we're scoring more? You're scoring more than the other team, right? That's defense. There's no stopping. You just keep scoring. It's fine.
They play defense tonight. I don't know why you guys think this is a drama-filled season for the Pacers. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, you got
for the Pacers yet.
But you've got another new head coach. You've got
Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle, the Hall of Fame coach one day. Rick Carlisle. I mean, you've still got, you're still adjusting to the new core of this Pacers team with Karis LeVert not playing yet this year. Is there going to be a big trade still on the move? Is Jeremy Lamb on the move? Is Miles Turner or Domas Sabonis going to potentially be packaged together? They've been linked to some Ben Simmons trade ideas. I mean, so there is stuff kind of swirling around this team. We'll get into the Pacers here in a second, but there's some nationwide drama. And Michael kind of mentioned his name. We'll go right into the big one because it is a big story with Ben Simmons. I mean, it has been, a long off season for Ben Simmons, I think particularly. We'll be super nice here and say he didn't have the best postseason showing last season. And then after that, during the offseason, it kind of comes out that, hey, he wants out. And then it just keeps escalating. It wasn't even at one point, it was just kind of a rumor that like maybe he's thinking about asking for a trade and wanting out. And then like it felt like that was just the door and the gate opening and the flood came out. And it was, I'm never showing up to that facility again. I want out. I'm never putting that jersey on again. Told his teammates, don't show up to my house. Don't even waste your time. I'm out. And then all of a sudden he's like, all right, well, I held out long enough. I got to at least show up to practice. But then he shows up to practice, is not mentally and physically engaged in said practice, gets kicked out of that practice by Doc Rivers, gets suspended for the season opener, shows up 2 days later back to practice, never goes into practice with the team, basically just goes and gets his back worked on, gets cleared to work out in practice, and then comes out and says, my back hurts. I can't practice. My back is still killing me. Now it has kind of taken an interesting turn in the last 48 hours, where, he's kind of come out and said mentally he doesn't think he can play right now. And what's been really nice, actually, in the midst of all of this is seeing the other 76ers, his teammates, actually come to his side. Because let's be honest, they really didn't have a reason to come to his side. They could have just stayed silent, or they could have even gone on the attack if they had so felt inclined. But I'm really actually proud of those guys. I'm probably the most proud of that organization right now than I really ever have been, or at least those teammates, because I don't like the 76ers. I've loved all this infighting. I've loved every second of it. But setting all of my petty, whatever you want to call it, jealousy aside, it is really nice to see players supporting other players that are going through a tough time like this. I know the last couple of years, mental health has really been brought to the forefront and been talked about a lot. And I think it's very important to see teammates actually actively not just saying the words, but doing the work behind the scenes as well, and supporting him, and even coming out to the stadium and talking to the crowd and saying, Ben Simmons is still our guy. He's still our teammate. He's still our brother. And at the end of the day, he's still a human being who needs support. And it's just, it really has been, at least for myself, I don't want to talk for you guys, but it's been a breath of fresh air in this whole saga to at least kind of have, even if it is kind of their way to closure and get him out of Philly, it is a much brighter note than we probably thought possible 72 hours ago.
Well, the big thing that I was hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that he refused to practice in a defensive drill. Doc Rivers asked him twice, and he said, nope, not doing it, don't care. Had his practice jersey in his pocket. Everyone I know was making a big deal saying it was a cell phone, but it was his jersey. And that, for me, if like you're wanting to get out, that's not really a good way of doing it, by openly disrespecting your coach in front of all your teammates. The fact that they still have his back, or at least outwardly saying they have his back, is surprising to me, given the fact that he has not really showed them mutual respect. And the 76ers are standing firm. We're not giving away for nothing. We want a playmaker on the team. And so they don't care if he sits there for the rest of his contract. They don't care. So it's just who's going to break first, who's going to get back to work, and what's it going to take. Ty, what do you think, buddy?
I think the leader of that team, Tobias Harris, said it best. We got to support our brothers. First off, Tobias Harris is the leader of that team in that locker room. If you don't believe me, go back and watch all those videos from the bubble where he's in the 76ers meetings when they have their pre-games meetings and he's the one talking up there. It's not Embiid. It wasn't Simmons. It wasn't Tyrese Maxey. It wasn't Seth Curry. It was Tobias Harris. He's the leader of that locker room. And he was saying, we got to support our brothers.
I'll give you that.
And then Embiid goes out there in the middle of the court and he's telling the fans, hey, don't boo him. He's going through stuff. He's still a member of this team. We still love him. They're definitely turning a corner on how they need to feel about Ben Simmons because they don't want another Markelle Fultz situation where Philly's making a bust and then they send him off to a different team and he's good again. You don't want that. Right. Especially if you don't get anybody good in return for Ben Simmons because they're not getting CJ McConnell and a first. And another first. They're not getting it.
Did you say CJ McConnell? Did CJ McCollum and TJ McConnell merged into one player?
Yes.
Could you imagine? That would be the superstar to end all superstars. Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, the fact that they're outwardly supporting him has been kind of shocking, just in the sense of, he hasn't shown that organization or those teammates respect that they feel like they probably deserved. But that also lends me to believe that there's a lot more behind the scenes going on. And maybe they do know that, you know what, hey, he's really, really struggling and all this stuff that's coming out isn't the Ben Simmons we know. And you know what, we're just trying to get him right, get him through this, and then let the cards fall where they may. I did think it was interesting, the quote from Daryl Morey saying, this saga could go on for 4 years because we're not trading him for less than a difference maker. And if they're really willing to just sit on him for that long, talk about unprecedented. I mean, so the NBA has had a history, obviously, of superstars forcing their way out of small market teams. Anthony Davis forced his way out of New Orleans. The Pacers have had back-to-back stars kind of force their way out, in Victor Oladipo and Paul George. So, I mean, it definitely is a player-driven league, and the players are realizing each time I think one of these stars kind of gets the trade they're asking for. I think it also is setting that precedent for the future that, like, this is how it works. You can force your way out if you really, really want to. If you don't care about some bad publicity for a couple of weeks and whatever, if you can get through that time, like, you can get to a different team. But this is what you've got to go through to get there. It's not as easy as going and talking to your owner and privately saying, hey, I would like a trade. Can you guys just make it happen? I appreciate it. And then it just being done kind of behind closed doors and you're out. It seems to be, if you're especially if you are a superstar guy, like, you have to get out. I mean, just imagine, I know he signed the contract extension, and I think part of the reason Giannis signed the extension was to shut down those trade rumors. But I mean, imagine if Giannis were to come out 3 years ago and say, I want out of Milwaukee. I mean, the media storm, the frenzy behind that would have been nuclear. Yeah. So, but we have some other drama going on in the NBA. Todd, Michael, we're going to have some fun with this one because it's right now it's at the hands of Tade's Lakers. Who could have possibly forecasted in their crystal ball that adding a guy like Russell Westbrook wouldn't just lead to instant success? How many teams have traded for Russell Westbrook and won titles?
That's not the drama.
The number is 0. Got it. Okay.
That's not the drama at all.
That's a fact. That's all fact.
It's been 2 games for them. What do you mean?
Hey, but Russell Westbrook Westbrook already came out and said today, I'm not afraid of the adversity of starting 0-2. Like,
we got rid of
Kyle not adverse. Kuzma, it's 0-2.
Harold.
It's not adverse. It's not adversity to be 0-2 right now.
Mr. Okay? Cocaine Cowboy. Are you telling me you'd rather have a guy that was arrested for having cocaine and couldn't play away games from the state versus Russell Westbrook? Which would I rather have? The guy that's not the cocaine cowboy. That's who. You don't tell me that's drama. That's not the drama of the Lakers. The drama of the Lakers is their stardom in LA. They're still the better team, and they don't even have the best players.
The drama of the Lakers is that Dwight Howard's pissed that he didn't make the NBA All-75 list, and he's taking it out on Anthony Davis.
Yep. Him and Klay Thompson are snubbed.
They're salty as hell about that make-believe 75 list. Like, I know it's 25 years down the road, but guys, they'll be in the top 100 list 25 years from now. Like, it's okay. It's fine.
Chill out, guys.
Yeah, top 100, it's fine. Boom. Exactly.
Yeah, take a breather.
Michael, do you think Dwight was a snub? Do you think he was a snub?
No.
Do you think AD shouldn't be there? Because AD should not have been there. I'm gonna say.
No,
I think Dwight.
It was way too soon for AD.
I think Dwight's a snub. I don't know who you kick off in his. Here's the deal. I truly don't know who you kick off to put him on there.
AD.
I don't know who you kick off to put him there. But the fact of the matter is Dwight Howard should have been there. Mm-hmm. He is a 8-time first team All Pro. He's an NBA champion. He's a 13-time All Star. I mean, people. It just goes to show in my mind too how like. In all of sports, like recency bias is such a big factor of like, well, Dwight Howard's been crap. He's not looked like a top 75 all-time player in the last few years. People forget how absolutely dominant he was in Orlando. Like people just refuse, either they forget or they refuse to believe it. Mm-hmm. And it's sad because he's one of the most fun guys to ever, I think, step in the NBA, starlight, if you will. It just had that big, he just got that big goofy smile.
Got some face making there. What's that for?
Well, it's just like the big thing I want to point out on that is, yeah, it's what he did in Orlando, but he hasn't played in Orlando now in 6 or 7 years. And it has not been very good after that at all.
But you're still talking about, when you're talking about that top 75 all-time list, it isn't what have they done in the last couple of years. It is career achievements. So I don't care if it was 8 years ago, it still happened and he was still that dominant. Mm-hmm. Because think about this. Let me put it in this light for you. Okay. If they made a top 70 list for whatever reason 5 years ago, Dwight Howard probably makes it. Because you don't have you're not looking in the lens of the last 5 years, and you're more looking in the lens of Orlando. So the fact that you're kind of hurting him because he's getting older, like every human being does, and his production has dipped, and he's had these kind of surgeries and injuries and trades, and he's moved teams and all this and that doesn't mitigate what he did in Orlando and how dominant he was. That's all I'm trying to point out. What the list itself is, it's make believe. It doesn't really matter, but. That's my point, that people just generally speaking have forgotten or don't want to admit how amazingly dominant that man was in Orlando. Like
3 Defensive Player of the Year awards.
I forgot about those. Yeah. I mean, he was an absolute, he was the next Shaquille O'Neal. Like he was Shaquille O'Neal after Shaquille O'Neal.
AD never had any real awards or accomplishments that Dwight never got. AD joined LeBron to win a championship on the Lakers that Dwight was a part of for that championship winning team and was great off the bench too as their center. So it's like, what did AD do to get there besides being a franchise player who couldn't make it in the playoffs on his own?
AD definitely didn't do enough to deserve that honor. No. And there are definitely probably some better players that could have been put on there. Like
I would have rather
Jermaine O'Neal.
Klay Thompson. Oh, that would have been great.
Klay Thompson. Yeah, we only got one pacer on that list.
I know you're upset there's only one pacer. We talked about this the other day, but like I asked you, like realistically, dude, the top 75 of all time, I'm excited that there's a pacer. Like, let's be real, okay? I'm ecstatic that there is a pacer that got national attention in the top 75 list. I'll take
Roy
it.
Hibbert should have been on that list. I don't know what we talking about.
No. Rick
Dude,
Smith.
Come on, you know that's bait. Come on, Michael, you're better than that. You know that's bait.
Oh, Michael knows I'm right.
No.
Yeah, Roy Hibbert is a top 5 center of all time. Chris, what are you talking about?
He played for the Lakers, Chris. You don't just get to play for the Lakers. You have to be good to play for the Lakers. We had Timothy Mozgov at one point.
Okay.
A finals center.
Well, listen to me. I like that logic because there's another pacer, a former pacer who also played for the Lakers that I would have loved to see in the top 75 list. And that's the one, the only Mr. Lance Stevenson. That would have been incredible.
Chris, he was garbage to the Lakers. We don't talk about him.
So was Roy Hibbert.
How dare you? Roy Hibbert was great for us. He's exactly what we needed. A stopgap center for 1 year.
So we've gotten
Lance
way
was
off
just good
track.
at pissing off LeBron James, and that was perfect. He could
Hall
piss
of
off
Fame.
LeBron James
Hall
and
of
fire up the crowd.
Fame level. Hall of Fame level, like WWE heel, by the way. Like perfect.
Why that man didn't go to WWE, I don't know.
Dude, I want like him and Pat McAfee to team up for whatever damn reason, but it would be the most amazing thing I'd ever see on television. But the Lakers legit drama, is it something that actually concerns you guys, or is it early season chemistry problems that we'll forget about in 2 weeks?
Chemistry. That's it. This just takes chemistry.
Yeah.
We won't be talking about this in November, December.
We won't be talking about this in February when they're in the championship run.
I agree. We will not be talking about this come later in the season, but I will say I think this is the first of many, many spats that this team is going to have, because at some point Russell Westbrook's going to piss people off. Yeah, I was like, at some point, like they're going to go on they're going to keep losing. They're going to I said it in the offseason, even before the Russell Westbrook. I was like, this is a team that's built on all these aging superstars that like need to come together really quickly, because they're in LA. If they go on any kind of losing streak, like it's going to get blown way out of proportion. If anything goes wrong, it's going to get blown way out of proportion. And we're 2 games in and it already has. So don't be surprised if this is the first of 20 times that we have, little spats like this between players. So we'll see if it's a season. I think it might be a season-long issue. We will not be talking about this particular one in 2 or 3 weeks, but that may be because we already have another one to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I do think this will be a season-long issue that may only get resolved by winning. And so if they can win, they'll be happy. But if they don't win, I'm telling you, that locker room is going to be in turmoil for the entire
They'll be
season.
in turmoil because all the cameras will be facing towards them. That's not big.
But that's also the ticket. When you come on board to LA, they don't hide that fact.
Yeah, but it's fake drama.
Yeah, it's Hollywood, baby. It's Hollywood. It's all scripted. It's all Hollywood. So I want to talk about our Pacers. I don't really want to talk about our 0-2 start with back-to-back 1-point losses, but I do. Actually, we can talk. Let's talk about Chris Duarte for a quick second, because that man, is it too early to say he's the best draft pick since like Miles Turner? Because that's what it feels like.
Too early. He's good, but it's too early.
Right. Only dropped 27 and set the franchise rookie record for.
Cool. It's 2 games. How many players have you known that went off in 2 games? Lynn Sanity? Right. Does that make Jeremy Lin the
Michael
GOAT?
Carter-Williams.
Duarte Sanity. I'm here for Duarte Sanity. I'm totally here for Duarte Sanity.
I'm waiting to see how he pushes through that rookie wall before I will make any claim. It is way too early.
He's old already. He's not even a rookie, really. He's a fake rookie.
Choo-choo. All aboard the Duarte hype train. I'm full steam ahead. I'm barreling through that rookie wall. So it's been fun to watch him regardless. I know it is only a couple of games so far, but he has definitely shown that he's ready to play, which is great. They threw him in the starting lineup and he did not miss a beat. He looked really good in the preseason as well when he did play with the starters. So there are a lot of positive signs to take from Chris Duarte so far. Obviously, we don't expect him to be in the starting lineup once Karis LeVert comes in, but I think that'll actually also help mitigate the effects maybe of that rookie wall, because he won't get exposed as much. He won't be asked to play 30 plus minutes a game. He'll get shorter bursts. He'll keep his legs fresh. I expect a lot from Duarte this year. So on that note, though, I want to recap the Pacers team leaders from last season in five statistics, because I want to predict. We're going to predict who's going to take the team lead this year. So last year, the Pacers' points per game leader was actually Malcolm Brogdon at 21.2 points a game.
Okay.
Rebounds, no one's going to be surprised. Rebounds per game, it was led by Sabonis with 12. Also, for the record, Sabonis at last year averaged 20.6 points a game. So Sabonis averaged 20 and 12 last year. Take that for what you will. 20 and 12. Assists per game, I was actually surprised. Sabonis was our team leader for assists per game with 6.7. So Sabonis was the team leader in rebounds and assists per game, and he was second for points per game. So just, kind of good at the game of basketball. Just saying. Steals per game. No one's going to be surprised. It was TJ McConnell, just under 2. He was at 1.9 steals a game. And again, no surprise, blocks per game was the NBA leader in blocks per game, Miles Turner, with 3.4 blocks per game. So no real surprise there, other than I think maybe the points per game. I was a little shocked to see it was Brogdon, but also not really. LeVert also was number 3 on the team in points per game. He averaged just over 20. So we had 3 20-point per game scorers last year, guys. That's pretty good for a mid-market team. For a mid-market. Yeah, basically. So real quick, we will go into, like I said, those categories for this year. I will kick us off. So points per game, like I said, I'm on this hype train, man. I'm taking a big leap. I'm going to go with Chris Duarte will end up being our points per game leader when the regular season ends. I think he's figured the game out already. And obviously the Pacers are not afraid to play him and throw him in lineups. I think we'll get different lineups, especially unfortunately as injuries probably will mount up. He'll see more and more time. I'm going to take a leap and say Duarte ends up being the team leader in points per game. Rebounds, I'm going to stick with Sabonis. Obviously he's just an animal down there, and Miles Turner's not your typical rebounding big, so there's almost no competition on this team for rebounds, it seems, at most times. So assists per game, I'm going to go with Brogdon. I think we're going to see him kind of shift from being an offensive shot maker to just kind of the offensive quarterback, because especially if LeVert is out there and Duarte and Sabonis, he's going to have so many options to kick the ball around that I think he's going to feel less obligated to be taking shots. So I think maybe his points per game kind of takes a little bit of a step back, but at the same time, I think his assists are going to go up just because I'm hoping that he's going to have a lot of options and plays to find other guys. Steals per game, I'm going to stick with TJ McConnell, brought him back for that exact reason. That's going to be our dude. Blocks, Turner. That's what he can do. I know we saw him drop 40 the other night, which was fantastic. But even in that game, he still had, I think, 3 or 4 blocks. So he's going to get his blocks each and every time he's out there on the court. So those are my 5. What do you guys think? I saw a lot of head shaking.
Tade, you want to start?
I'll start. Yeah, no, LeVert's going to lead us in points per game easily. He did so last year. It's not going to be anybody else. I don't think Duterte is going to really do anything besides replace what Jeremy Lamb does, and that's shoot threes. That's what I always bet on. I always bet on the over for Duterte. It's worked out so far, over 2.5. So going with him on that. Okay. Domas, obviously, for rebounds. I'll go with Chris on that. Blocks, Miles, yeah, obviously. McConnell, I don't think he's going to get utilized a lot this year. I think Brogdon's going to probably beat him on steals. And I don't think Brogdon's going to lead in assists either, because they don't pay the man to pass. They pay the man to shoot, as he would say, because they give him that big extension. Yeah, but he likes to handle the ball and shoot it himself. He doesn't really pass it too much. I think Domas will have assist leader, if anything, because that man tries to be like Jokic half the time.
And to be fair, he was second, or he led, like I said, he led the team last year with 6.7. Do you know who was second actually last year, which I was surprised? It was TJ McConnell at 6.6. So he was right there.
He's Sabonis, a true PG.
And Brogdon was actually right there at 6. So we had 3 guys in the 6 assist a game range last year.
Yeah. TJ McConnell's a true PG. He's been a true PG since he was part of the process in Philadelphia when they got him as an undrafted free agent. So, I mean, he's clutch anyway, so he's a great 6th man for the team. Better than Brissett, at least. Brissett's good, but Brissett's Brissett. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Michael, what about you?
What did you end up with steals and blocks? I think I missed it.
I said Malcolm for steals, blocks.
McConnell?
Yeah.
Did you go?
No, Brogdon.
Brogdon for steals? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Turner. Okay.
Yeah.
Michael, yeah, I'm really curious. You were the one shaking your head at me the most, I think. So I'm very curious to see what I'm ready to rip you apart. I'm just kidding.
All right. I know we're running a little long in this segment, so I'm going to try and keep this a little short. Sabonis, points per game, easy. The offense just flows through him. I'm also going to pick him for boards because he's mainly going to play down the paint, and offensive boards are going to be a huge factor in that. Assists, just going off the very early sample size we have this year, I'm going to go with Malcolm Brogdon because it looks like he's taking more of a step back, being more of the captain. He already has averaging 9.5 assists per game already, which is a pretty big turnaround versus him being a little bit more aggressive in the past. I think he's kind of learning, especially with Carlisle at the helm, to kind of move it around a little bit, and he'll get his opportunities as they come. Now, steals, I'm going to go with Duarte because I feel like he's going to get matched up at least with some ball heavy two guys out there. So I can see him getting more opportunities, and I could see him taking advantage of it. And then blocks, that's easy. It's Miles Turner. Just that is cake. That is easy. Give the man Defensive Player of the Year right now. Like, he got robbed. I'm just saying he didn't get robbed last year, but he was. Jokic is just a goon. But he was in that conversation last year. And
let's say he was robbed as a finalist. How's that?
He was robbed as a finalist for sure. But I could see him making a pretty big run this year, especially if those blocks numbers keep going up like they have been already.
Yep. I like it. I like that we had a lot of different mindsets of that one. But obviously, we all have the same goal. We all hope the Pacers win as many games as possible and actually win some playoff games as well.
We want the number one overall draft pick.
Oh
Lottery.
So, all right. So we are going to quickly shift gears. We're a good chunk of the way into the NFL season, so we've got plenty to talk about there. I think Michael is going to take the lead on this one real quick for our NFL segment today.
Well, like I was saying earlier, we are running a little long, gentlemen, with that last segment. So we're going to make it easy. Aaron Rodgers, legendary human being, future Hall of Famer, did something that only added to that absolute legend and cemented himself as a heel in the city of Chicago. He should not be walking around there by himself ever. When he scored the game-clinching touchdown and he looked up and he saw, in his words, a woman, but the photos have shown there was a field of birds in his face, and he just, mind shut off, and the belt wearing, smack talking man just came out and said, "You know what? I own you. As a matter of fact, I've owned you my entire life." So, gentlemen, this is just an absolute legendary quote to say in Chicago and back it up.
Oh, yeah.
And back it up. And he pointed out on the Pat McAfee show that they had a losing record in Chicago when Favre took over. And Favre bumped the scales back up pretty close to even. And Rodgers has just thrown that out the window and took a double-digit lead against Chicago in wins and losses over their storied rivalry.
It's not storied anymore because Chicago's trash.
It's one-sided. It's still storied, but it's one-sided for currently speaking. Yeah,
it's gonna be. Could be one-sided for the foreseeable future, but Justin Fields has given that whole city renewed hope.
Sure.
But they also had that a few years ago with Mitch Trubisky, and we're not going to talk about that.
Well, hey, that's the MVP you're talking about there, mister. Watch your mouth.
Hey, and you know what 2015 Jake Arrieta says about having hope, right?
Mm-hmm. And I guess it makes sense because Chicago has no hope right now.
I don't understand the reference.
Okay.
I was thinking Joker.
Hey, whatever helps you sleep at night, whatever gives you hope, just know it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Jake Arrieta. So here, okay, real quick. I'm so sorry, but here's the context. He tweeted that out at a Pittsburgh Pirates fan the day of the Pittsburgh Pirates wildcard game, where he would end up dominating in Pittsburgh and throwing a complete game shutout in a 4-0 win. He tweeted that he woke up in the morning and chose violence, and then backed it up that night in the playoffs for the first time. Like, the Cubs hadn't been to the playoffs in like 8 years, and it's their first game. We're excited to be here, man. And he literally tweets out, "Whatever hope you have, just know in the end it doesn't matter." Drop the mic and then went out and literally shut him out. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Okay. What a man.
Absolute
what a man.
legend.
What a man.
His card art in MLB The Show should have been that tweet.
It would have been I would have bought that so much quicker than I did if that was the case. All right. NFL. Whew, we're focused.
NFL.
We got
football.
this.
Gentlemen.
Football.
It got me thinking today, right?
Okay. Oh boy.
We're
always in danger when Michael thinks.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to know, in your guys' opinion,
sure,
what franchise does a player basically own at this point. They dominate.
Okay.
Super high win percentage, or even like a perfect win percentage against, or just has unbelievable games against them. Chris, kick us off, buddy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take that low hanging fruit. I'm gonna go with the obvious answer here, and that's Andrew Luck against the Tennessee Titans. All he did against the Tennessee Titans, they might as well call him DJ Khaled, because all he does is win. He was 11-0 against the Tennessee Titans in his career, never lost, undefeated. If that's not owning a franchise, I don't know what is, because
and a division rival at that.
Yeah, and another division rival. And I think Titans fans, maybe even partially still to this day, have nightmares about, like, what if he returns? What if he returns? Like, I think he's still in their heads at this point, and I can't say I blame him, because he's 11-0. That man never lost. So that's I'll take that low hanging fruit, easy enough. Andrew Luck, we miss you, but Andrew Luck against the Titans, 11-0 record, easy. Come on,
and that
Tade?
Vic Ballard touchdown still sticks out of my head.
I'll let
Reese,
Michael go first on this one. Michael, say who
you want me to
yours
go?
is. You go
Okay,
say
all
yours. I got one at the end.
Oh, you want to do yours at the end? All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Tom Brady.
Oh.
Might as well be a part owner in the Jets. I knew you. I said I was going there.
He did. He did.
So he is 30-8 all time against the Jets, including multiple perfect passer rating games against the Jets as a New England Patriot. And he made that comment when he was talking about that Aaron Rodgers quote.
Yeah.
And I just love that it still always goes back to, oh yeah, by the way, the Jets, bird, like, doesn't care. It is hilarious. The Jets have been through so much already, and to still be haunted by Tom Brady, it's kind of funny. Like I said, I love Tampa Bay Tom now. He just doesn't care, and I love every minute of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Tade, you have a moment to think there, buddy?
You know what? I don't need a moment because I had backups. Because Tom Brady wasn't my first choice for this. I just want to make some funny jokes about him owning the league. But we all know the quote. Don't put me next to a sorry receiver like Crabtree.
Okay.
Richard Sherman and the league in a boom in their heyday. I'm sorry, San Francisco, but you are crap against that Cascadia team from Seattle, because Richard Sherman is the smack talker who backs it up with his stats on only his right side of the field. And
I mean,
the rest is history.
That man, I mean, him
he
and
ended Crabtree's career.
Yeah.
He was never good with the San Francisco after that. He was never really good with the Raiders after that. Where is he now? I don't know.
I mean, in the simplest terms, let's be honest. After that play, after that moment, Crabtree was shook. I mean, like that, he shook, and that is, I mean, I think objectively speaking, that is one of the most fun, I think, kind of one-on-one plays that we've seen in a long time between a corner and a receiver, with everything that was on the line as that ball was in the air. I mean, like that was special. I understand if you're San Francisco, you don't ever want to think about that again. I get it, but objectively speaking, that was special. So yeah, that's a good one, Tade. I like that. I hadn't thought about that. I was worried that we would all kind of go Tom Brady versus the AFC East, because let's be honest, you could literally spin the wheel, throw a dart at the dartboard, and pick one of the AFC East teams, and Brady has dominated them.
Except for the Dolphins in Miami.
That's true.
If I remember correctly, he has a losing record against the Dolphins in Miami. Yep.
But I bet you he still has a winning record against that team overall somehow, some way.
Absolutely.
I'm like, yeah, you have to think about what you had to do to find like that niche where Tom Brady wasn't good. It was not just it was this team, but also in their building. Like, it's just funny that like that's the level you have to go to.
Well, it was always surprising. Yeah. Because that would be a team that had no contest winning that game, should probably not have even shown up, and still won, including that that walk-off touchdown where like Gronk missed the tackle.
Gronk, well, he didn't miss. He's Gronk. He was slow. He can't catch up to Who
Kenyon
was
Drake.
that? Was it Kenyon Drake? Was it Kenyon Drake?
I think
Okay.
it might have been Kenyon Drake.
I wanted to say Devontae Parker, but I think it was Kenyon. You might be right.
Look it up. I was a running back.
Anyway, while he's looking that up, we'll finish with that. But we have some other NFL stuff to talk about. So yeah, obviously the Aaron Rodgers quote. I mean, let's be honest. Look, what's up?
Kenyon Drake. I was right.
Okay, nice. Okay, cool. Listen, as a Packers fan, I got to say that's a top 5 Aaron Rodgers just kind of moment in his career. That is I've already seen it printed on T-shirts, and I was like, I need to own that T-shirt. I mean. And I think one of my favorite things about it is, did you guys hear what Darius Butler said about it on Pat McAfee's show last week? He said, you know what? He said, you know what? As cool as that moment was, the context behind it makes it even cooler. He said the fact that a quarterback is out here saying these things now, that's special. That's extra special because he's like, think about the fact that typically speaking, your quarterback of your franchise is your leader, your clean cut, your very cliched post-game press conference. You know, he's almost like a head coach. Like he has to always say the right things and do the right things and act a certain way and be the most professional player on the field. Everybody else kind of gets to, like, wide receivers are divas, cornerbacks are divas. Everybody else kind of gets to trash talk and stuff, but your quarterback he needs to be the straight-laced, level-headed, cliche-ridden kind of guy. Yeah. And so now that we're kind of, and let's be honest, we're having quarterbacks not fit that mold recently. This is not the first time we've, had this happen. I mean, we've got guys like Lamar Jackson who are breaking the mold. Colin Kaepernick broke the mold when he became the game-breaking kind of running quarterback that he was.
Michael Vick
obviously broke the mold. Russell Wilson. I mean, the list goes on. And these guys, not just on the field, but even off the field in the way they talk. And they're not that kind of straight-laced, cliched guy anymore. But the fact that Aaron Rodgers got to, have this moment, and the fact that it was a quarterback leading a team, finishing a game, was just, extra special. And once again, I kind of relate it back to this new NFL taunting rule. We're finding ways to get around it. Hey, if you can't taunt the players, taunt the fans. See if they'll throw the flag on that.
Exactly.
And you know what? Let's shout out CeeDee Lamb also being innovative, finding a new way to get around this taunting. You can't throw a taunting flag when the game's over. Like, I'm going to hit this walk-off touchdown, and I'm going to say goodbye. Oh, that was great. That was solid. I'm neither here nor there on CeeDee Lamb so far, but that was pretty fun. I'll give him that one. That's got to feel pretty good to catch a 35-yard walk-off touchdown and at the 5-yard line know you're scoring and winning. Like, yeah, of course. Yeah. Have that moment, man. You earned that moment. Let that emotion flow over you. You've earned it. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's get into this. We got a big one for the Colts, guys. They're sitting at 2-4. We got Sunday Night Football in San Francisco. Weather doesn't look like it's going to be great. Looks like potential for maybe some rain, colder weather. Hey, run the damn ball, right? That's all I'm thinking weather-wise. Colts have got to feel pretty good coming off of that dominant Texans win at home, which we knew they needed to win that one, but I think they really needed to do it the way they did it, to flex their muscle, to just put them to bed early and absolutely dominate them. That final score ended up being 31-3. Think about the fact that the Colts had as many turnovers as they gave up points.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Pretty solid day's work. Yahoo Fantasy Fixture scoring, by the way, I had the Colts defense and they still only got me 11 points with getting 3 turnovers and only giving up 3 points. I don't understand how that's only worth 11 points when you start with 10, but it's neither here nor there. I'm not salty.
Yeah, you are
a little salty. And then, you know what, that was the high, and now we've got another low note. Another injury takes a bite out of that Colts defense. Julian Blackmon on Wednesday's practice tears his Achilles and is done for the year. Heart goes out to him, a super, super talented ball hawk, young safety just in his second year, and was playing well. He already just in, like I said, in the second year has been that stabilizing force, and the back end of their secondary, and it's going to take a lot to try to fill that hole. How big of a loss is that to the Colts defense, guys?
I mean, if I'm Ballard right now, I'm picking up the phone, I'm calling Jerry Jones, and I'm trying to get Malik Hooker back.
Yeah.
somebody who knows the defense, who isn't like a top tier, like most priority player on the Cowboys because of what was it Quentin Diggs? What's the corner for the
Tavon?
Not
Tavon. I'm sorry. No, I don't
No?
think is it Tavon? I don't know. I know who you're talking about.
Number 7, Diggs for the Cowboys, who has been going off this year.
Has
7
7 picks.
interceptions already. Like, it is ridiculous what he's doing.
Yep.
But that is somebody who already knows your defense.
Yeah.
Who is a great ball hawk when healthy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And you can get him for not a ton. You can get him for cheap.
Yeah.
And so I'm picking up the phone. I'm making a phone call, at least entertaining it, because Julian Blackmon emerged massively last year. Basically, took Malik Hooker's job right out from under him immediately.
He did.
And he was electric. And it sucks, T's and P's for him and his family. Rest up, get healthy, get back out here and be a dominant force. But unfortunately, it's next man up. Its story never changes for the Colts and never has in my 25 years of life. Yep. Next man up. How you doing? Keep it moving.
We've kind of run out of men at this point, though. So.
I know. But that's why I do like that Hooker idea, because if you're panicking right now coming into week 7 and you're like, I need to get somebody today. It's not the off season where I can get them some practice and get them in our system. You can get Hooker, and you probably don't even have to give up Marlon Mack for Malik Hooker. You can still move Mack for another piece down, some other way. You can find a way to get Malik Hooker from Dallas for less than Mack. So if you can make that happen and get good trade value out of Mack, you might be able to patch this thing together and be okay. Fingers crossed. That's a good, Tade, real quick, what are you thinking on the Blackmon deal, on the Blackmon injury, that is?
Our defense already suffers in the fourth quarter really bad. And if we try to prevent defense now, we're going to get slaughtered. So this isn't good at
Even
all.
more. It's hard to imagine.
So we need to trade Marlon Mack because he wants out, and we need to trade him for a piece or something. Or hopefully we sign somebody from the practice squad that's really good.
Yay!
Trust the binder.
Trust the Ballard.
Trust the binder.
All right, but looking specifically now at the Sunday night game against the 49ers, I think the big headline right now, we got kind of two. One, I think it's going to be a revenge game for DeForest Buckner. I think he's looking forward to going back to San Francisco, and he's going to face a hobbled Jimmy G with a makeshift offensive line. I'm going to predict that he's going to get a couple of sacks. I think he's going to kind of feast on that interior line. So look out for that. This is going to be, I think, a fun one for him personally and professionally. Obviously, it's a good matchup, I think, regardless. But I think it's also going to be kind of personal for him because, hey, they traded me away. They didn't want to bring me back. It was they made a deal to get me out of here, and we'll show.
They didn't want to pay him.
We'll show them what they missed. We'll show them what they missed.
That trade has become so one-sided in hindsight now, too, that's just insane.
It really is.
Who did they use for that pick?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
I don't think it's somebody who's there anymore.
But think about the fact that a trade for yes, he was an all-pro talent in San Francisco, and he's maintained that status. But think about the fact that a trade where one team sent away a first-round pick and the other team didn't send a pick back has become lopsided for the player and not the pick.
True.
So the other thing I want to talk about, guys, Carson Wentz through 6 games or through 7 games now. I'm sorry. No, 6 games. Let's be honest. I think he's the real deal. I think he is the Colts QB1 for the foreseeable future. He's proven it. So far on the year, guys, he's thrown for 1,545 yards, 9 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. He has a QBR of 102.4. For the record, that would if his QBR, if that was the end of the season, that would be the highest QBR in his career. If you look at his 2017 MVP season, he threw in 13 games, he threw for 3,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. He had a QBR of 101.9. He is on pace for around 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, and only 3 picks. and well over 100 QBR. I know the Colts are 2-4 right now. They've played a brutal schedule so far, but none of it has been at the fault of Carson Wentz, which I think has surprised a lot of people in Colts Nation and around the nation. I think people are surprised at how well Carson Wentz has looked through 6 games, and he's doing it at all levels. We saw him last week decimate the Texans on only like 14 pass attempts for over 200 yards, and he went deep, hit T.Y. deep, hit Paris Campbell deep, hit Mo Alley Cox in that mid-level 15 to 20 yard range a couple of times. He has just looked really good when he's not scrambling for his life like he was those first couple of weeks.
And we get Nelson back to protect him. And we get Braden Smith back eventually in the season.
And we found out that Chris Reed is actually really solid. So we've got maybe some depth that we didn't know we had. So, I mean, I think as we start to get healthier on the offense, we're going to start seeing those higher and higher scoring games. And
we trade Quentin Nelson for 5 first-round picks. Would you do that? Would you trade Quentin Nelson for 5 first-round picks?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even entertain the idea.
Would you trade him for 10?
No.
From 2 different teams?
No, I really wouldn't. You have to understand draft capital is all risk and almost no reward. You can't bank so much on those picks when you're like, think about it. You would hope out of those picks, you would realistically expect to get 2 guys that are the level of Quentin Nelson, but you might not even get that. So you're throwing away a Hall of Fame player.
If you could get the first 10 picks in the next draft, would you do it?
No,
the first 10 picks in the next draft, I would do it.
No,
that's the first.
It's too much risk.
Nope.
Too much risk.
I wouldn't do it. So what are our predictions for this game? I'm going to say the Colts are going to win this one still 28-18. I think Jimmy G's hobbled. They've got some injuries that they're dealing with on their own. Trent Williams is probably not going to play from what I've heard. So I think, again, he's going to be behind that makeshift line. The weather's not going to be great. And I think that lends itself more to running, which is what the Colts want to do. Jonathan Taylor, we haven't even talked about him. He is here. If you haven't heard his name somehow, some way, like I don't know what you're doing, but he is right up there among the league's top backs, and he's only coming into year 2 now. So Jonathan Taylor should have a big game, and I just, like I said, I expect a decent 2-score win for the Colts on Sunday night.
So I think this game's going to be a little bit closer.
Sure.
So I'm going to go with 14-17. Colts still take the win. Jimmy G needs to sleep with whatever adult film actress that he's with right now as much as he can, because DeForest Buckner is going after him because he is just angry.
Yeah.
But Carson Wentz needs to be extremely careful, because right now there's still a man on the other side of that defense who is a all-pro level defensive end in Nick Bosa, who is going to be coming strictly for him because he knows Carson Wentz still isn't 100% just yet. And we just lost 2 major deep threats this week. 2. T.Y. Hilton's out. Paris Campbell, we don't know when he's going to be back again. And Michael Pitten's been good, but stretching the field, that deep ball, getting the defense to kind of spread out a little bit and be honest, we don't really have that guy right now.
Make Mo Alley Cox a lot tough receiver. Easy.
Yeah, but he's not going to like burn past a corner.
True.
That's
right.
the thing.
They'll just stand above him.
They're going to be playing in front. So you got to run the ball and you got to take the easy ones. You cannot hold on to the ball. You cannot run around for your life in the garbage weather that's going to be in Santa Clara, because you'll die. Like we all made the joke, he has paper skin and glass bones. But he has toughness, he has heart, and he doesn't know how to let a play go. And I'm genuinely worried about that in this game, because we don't have somebody who's going to keep that defense on us. That way he can make a big play or two and have that time to roll out and hit Paris Campbell 69 yards deep for a touchdown or something. Nice. So I'm a little nervous, but I still think the Colts are going to pull it out, because I'm not terrified of Jimmy G or Trey Lance. The San Francisco 49ers have not had a consistent Trey Lance.
Well, he's not playing this week. He's out.
He's out.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
well,
so when we hurt
Jimmy
Jimmy G, when Jimmy G gets hurt, we're gonna win easy.
Yeah,
they don't have a running back 1 because he's out. He's out. The running back 2 is not that good because I dropped him in fantasy.
That is the end all be all. If you're not,
if you're not on my fantasy team, my 4-2 fantasy team, I think maybe it's 5-2 by now. I don't know. I haven't looked really.
Nope, we're coming into week 7, so there's no way you're already 5-2. You're probably right on 4-2.
There we go then. My 4-2 fantasy team. I've only lost to Michael and Chris. No, I beat Michael. Never mind.
You beat me.
Oh, I beat you.
No, you beat me with Lamar Jackson on Monday night.
I beat you that crazy game.
That double knife stab. Yeah.
I didn't even need him to go off either. I would have beat you without him.
I think so, yeah. That was a fun week though. We put up high scoring.
But I beat Michael. No, I lost to Michael. Then, yeah.
Beat me.
I almost beat you. That's why.
Tyler, what are you thinking? What do you think of Colts 49ers?
27-24. Colts scored 24 points a game. Colts scored 24 points a game. Typically gets scored 21 points on. San Francisco's the exact same almost, so it's going to be like 27-24. Colts win. We go running games. They go passing game because we have no, secondary. So even game kind of. We just flip-flop.
Yeah. It should be, for the national audience, it should at least be a good competitive game between two solid teams. Unfortunately, that are both dealing with injuries. But week 7 of the NFL season, I think every team is dealing with injuries. So at some, to some levels. So who knows? It'll be fun. I think, we all predicted we all are going to go with ride our Colts and hope they can start a winning streak, trying to claw their way back to the top of the AFC South. So what do we got next, guys? What do we got next?
Bets. Let's make some freaking money, Toddy.
As I bet currently on the Phoenix Suns game. Yes, let's make some money.
Okay. Well, then how about this? Before I toss it to you guys for the total bet. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to each also predict a different NFL game of the week. They're going to talk about the betting side of it. I'm not, because I don't bet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my Infinity Gauntlet ring and give you my inevitable outcome of the week. And I am going with the 5-1 Baltimore Ravens will inevitably beat Joe Burrow's 4-2 Cincinnati Bengals. So there is that one. You can bet on it whatever you want to do with it. But it is inevitable. Thanos has snapped it into existence. Ravens over Bengals this week. All right, you guys, what do you got?
Michael? Who is your underdog pick of the week for your betting?
Well, of course, Chris would take the pretty heavy favorite in that game.
I'm going for the inevitable one. That's why it's not an underdog. I'm not betting. I'm just saying, what is the inevitable
there's a bunch of
outcome of
inevitable ones. That's a horrible inevitable one. You could have picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You could have picked the Rams.
I'm not trying to go with the low. I'm not trying to go with the lowest hanging fruit. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The Cardinals,
okay, fine.
The Packers.
All right. Okay. The 5-1 Rams are going to beat the 0-6 Lions, guys. You heard it here first.
That's inevitable, though. That's an inevitable.
Matt Stafford revenge game.
You know what's inevitable? You driving me insane. That's what's inevitable. Is you driving me up a wall.
You're welcome. Welcome back, buddy.
Michael, who's your pick?
So I'm going to be going with an actual underdog this week. I'm going to take the Titans over the Chiefs in Tennessee because you can't stop Derrick Henry.
Michael, why did you take my pick?
I didn't know that was your pick.
I said it before the podcast. That was my pick.
He said it.
Are you kidding
me? Yes, he said it.
Whoopsies. My bad, homie.
You were gonna pick the Giants or something.
Yeah,
that's what you're talking about.
No, I wasn't.
My pick.
I was not.
I'm dying.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael is a
you know what?
killer. I want
you,
all
you know what?
Social
you know
media
what's
fans.
Okay, you know what's legitimately inevitable? Michael dropping the ball like this. Inevitable. Oh,
well,
man.
now I gotta pick a new.
Call me Sammy Watkins. I'm out here dropping it.
So,
oh my God.
The Colts, the Titans, and I'm gonna go with as the third team as my underdogs to win it. let's say, no, I don't want to pick. I don't want to pick the Eagles as an underdog to win it. They suck. I don't want to pick the Dolphins. They suck. I don't want to pick the Lions. They suck. I don't want to pick the Giants. They have no running game. But they have no passing game either. I don't want to pick the Jets. They're not good. And I don't want to do a spread bet. That Washington football team is not going to beat the Packers. All right. I don't like this pick. I don't want this pick. I have to do this pick because Michael stole my pick.
No. You take it. I got.
No.
A backup plan.
I'm gonna say Giants over the Panthers. As my backup pick here because Daniel Jones is back. He's not out. The Panthers have a horrible passing game. They still don't have a good rushing game because McCaffrey's out. So it's going to be a battle of who has a better defense. And I think the Giants have a better defense. Better coaching? No. Better defense? Sure.
Well, here's another one then.
No, you already took the Titans.
No. You got to pick 3. I'm picking another one.
Oh my God.
Bugger off. I'm going to say as an actual betting thing. So on DraftKings right now, there's an over under 42.5 on the Patriots and Jets game. Bet the under because there's no way that New York Jets are going to go off because of Bill Belichick's history in coaching against rookie quarterbacks. He makes them look absolutely ridiculous. It makes it look like they're still playing high school ball and against an NFL team. It does not look great. And Mac Jones has been super inconsistent pushing the ball. And the Jets defense hasn't been incompetent, but they're not great. Mm-hmm. So bet the under. I don't think that came. I'm going to be shocked if there's going to be a team that's above 14 points in that game in all legitimate honesty. So I think there's a bonus right now where you can get a boost on neither the Jets or New England, making it to 25 plus. I'm confident enough to throw it on that too. I'm very confident in that bet.
I don't want to be confident in that bet, but I mean, it's not bad. If I could say yes or no, I pick yes over no. Because there's always a chance the team goes off randomly or some random play happens over them just having great defense.
I guess in the sense of things, what did you say the total over was? 42.5?
Yeah.
So split that. That's between both teams. So split that up.
Yep.
That's 3 touchdowns apiece. That's not high scoring if they are going back and forth. And since they're bad enough teams on both ends, their defense might be a little bit bad. Honestly, I still would, if I was a betting man, I would go with the under because I think, like you said, I don't think they're just going to score the points to get there. It's also not out of the realm of possibility that we could have a 24-21 game. That's not, you know what I mean? Like not, you're not banking on one team going off for 30. You're more banking on like both teams scoring 3 touchdowns. That Thursday night game ended up being 17-14 and the over under, you said Tade at halftime was 30, 17 and 14 hit because that's 31. So, I mean, and that game we know how that game looked. So the fact that now granted before the game, I think the over under, like you said, was 40 for Thursday night. Now I definitely would have taken the under and that would have been fine. At halftime, it was 30. So, but I'm just saying 42 is not, it's not out of the realm of possibility because you're not, like I said, you're not banking on one team going off for 35. The funny thing is, like the Colts dominant 31-3 win last week wouldn't have hit that 42.5, but that's because the Texans didn't hold up their end of the bargain in scoring. So it is what it is. That's an interesting one. Yeah. I always actually enjoy the over under on the combined team ones because that's a fun way I think to think about the game. Cause it's like, well, do I expect, the one team to dominate the other? Well, yeah, but do I expect it to be so lopsided that one team literally doesn't score and then the other team has to carry the whole load of that over under?
Yeah.
So who knows? It'd be fun. All right. We will wrap up today's episode. We've got some headlines to just real quick hit with. The big one from today, from Saturday in the college football world, we have now officially the longest overtime game in college football history. Unranked Illinois knocks off number 7 Penn State 20-18 in 9 overtimes it took for these teams to settle that match today, if you will. So that's a headline. What was our other big headlines this week, guys?
The other big headline coming in today is another top 10 team has fallen, Chris. Iowa State beat Oklahoma State at home, and another top 10 team is falling. I have no idea what the college football playoff is going to look like, and hence why they should just expand the college football playoff, because like I was saying, any given Saturday, Chris. Over to you, Tade.
Or just have conference winners win. But unfortunately, we have one conference that's currently collapsing because teams are going elsewhere. Conference USA is losing a lot of their teams because they're going to the Sun Belt. And then where else are the remaining 4 teams going to go? The MAC, most likely, because they're closer geographically to the MAC. And the MAC loves itself because it has the shortest distance of travel on average compared to all the other conferences. Good on you, MAC. Let's go get Middle Tennessee.
Yeah. Last headline back over to the NBA. We had we had a record set, or I guess stat, whatever you want to call it. Chris Paul, CP3, became the first NBA player ever to have 20,000 points in his career and 10,000 assists. So congrats to Chris Paul. Just another accolade, put it on the list of his inevitable, I think, Hall of Fame resume. And then also let's shout out, we talked about it earlier, but that top 75 all-time list, Reggie Miller did get included in that list. And it was a really fun moment when those TNT guys let him know that he was actually selected to the 75, and he was kind of speechless. So really, really, really fantastic to see him get selected to something like that. Let's be honest, he probably was kind of on the bubble-ish, but that was a lot of fun. I'm glad he's on that list. All right, guys. I think that is going to do it for this week. I think we did it, guys. I think we did it.
Good job, everybody.
Yay.
We will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.